Hello and welcome to The Breathing Room. I'm Rita Date, your host. I'm a yoga and meditation teacher, mindful eating coach, and I have written 2 books on healthy eating the Indian way. If you want to cut through the wellness clutter and get good information and good advice, all backed by science, you've come to the right place. So I'm very happy to have Avanti Deshpande here today. She's a sports and clinical nutritionist. She also specializes in gut health. Welcome, Avanti.
Thank you so much.
So tell me, what exactly is, you do a lot of specialization in the gut.
Yes.
So can you explain to us what that means? Like what do you do exactly?
Yeah. So just, giving a background of it, I have done my master's in nutrition. And after that, after studying after working couple of years, I realized that, this is the latest science that, your gut health has an impact on a lot of disorders and general health. So that's where I studied the effect of gut microbiome on the entire body. Okay. And then beyond that, I just studied something about FODMAP diets. Okay. So these are connected to a large extent together. So just to simplify,
what is a FODMAP diet?
FODMAP diets are meant for people who have IBS.
Okay.
And they are, the ones which are, so it's like a fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides. So basically they are a group of carbohydrates which impact your gut health.
Okay.
And they are the ones that are responsible for causing a lot of distension, indigestion, food not getting digested well. So they are a group that they are present in the food itself. So we identify these triggers, we remove these triggers, and then we make changes in the diet. But having said that, gut healing is overall bigger, you look at it as a bigger picture rather than just treating one particular disorder. So what we studied what I studied as a gut health nutritionist is what exactly is the role of these microbiome which are present in the large intestine. What are they exactly? So it's a combination of microbiology and nutrition put together. So it is like you understand what are these microorganisms, what are these good bacteria, what we are talking about, what are the pathogens or the bad bacteria that we are talking about. So a little bit of microbiology there. Then beyond that, we understand that these microorganisms, how they impact in your immunity, nutrient manufacturing, overall cognitive health, as well as metabolic disorders. So we studied this separately. Then later on, you connect this to the different ways of how your gut health can be healthy or then becomes unhealthy because of the kind of food that you consume, the environmental factors that are present, sleep being deprived, stress levels. So how that has an impact on your gut health, and having said that, how you can make changes in your diet and your lifestyle so that you are able to get an overall healing of the gut. Whatever symptoms a person comes with, a person might come with, okay, I'm having bloating, I'm having acidity, probably I'm not able to digest certain foods well. Whatever I'm eating, I'm just feeling too bloated after I finish my meals. I'm feeling too sleepy after consuming it. A lot of times they just need to remove a lot of food out of the diet because they are not able to just digest it and consume it. So we need to just identify this, that why is this happening? Is it happening because of the food that they're consuming? Is it happening because of the lifestyle that they are having? Probably just not eating meals on times is also a reason why your gut could be unhealthy. Probably you are having certain food ingredients which are like impacting your health, and then that is where the FODMAP comes into picture. So we need to understand that. We need to modify the diet, remove certain triggers for a specific period of time, say about 6 weeks or something, then start reintroducing these foods into the diet. Till then your gut healing process, we work on that as well. Now there are a lot of probiotics available in the market, supplements available, they are a lot present in the food itself, but exactly which one is required for that person needs to be understood, and that comes with a study that we have done. And overall, a person coming with a complaint should get a relief to that complaint in a month's time. This is what our aim is.
Oh wow.
Yes,
that's great.
Yes.
So it's much more than food. Right?
Yes.
And each individual is different. So if somebody comes, how do you determine which probiotics they should take, or if they should take probiotics? How do you come to that? And what do you recommend? Is there any specific one in the market right now?
So the thing is like, probiotics come in a form of supplements, and there are different combinations available, having different combination of different lactobacilli present in it. But then the thing is like, we don't first directly move on to the supplements. What we try to do is, we try to analyze the diet. A lot of times people are missing out on having fiber in the diet. They're not having enough of salads, they're not having enough of fruits, so not even having enough of, vegetables in the diet. That is one thing which we correct first. Second is introducing certain probiotics which are naturally present in the food. Like your buttermilk is having a probiotic, that is lactobacilli. Fermented vegetables are easily available these days. So the like sauerkraut is there, kimchi is there. They are the natural fermented ones which are again adding up to the probiotics. So
is there anything more Indian than, these
yeah,
are
first is buttermilk, as I said.
buttermilk. Okay.
Then something which is, very commonly seen in the northern parts of India is beetroot kvass. Kanji.
Yes.
Okay. That is an excellent probiotic. And in fact, if you, I would recommend the viewers to go to my Instagram channel or the YouTube channel, and there I have given recipes how to make this easily at home.
Okay, yes, I've seen that, and I made it.
Yes, and it's very simple to make. It's not at all complicated, and especially in this season, in this winter season, having that 100 ml also is like, a great dose of probiotic. So that is there. But having said that,
the time you should have it?
Yeah, usually you have it before the meal.
Okay.
Or with the meal.
Okay.
Okay. Certain probiotics like buttermilk can be had in between anytime. But what happens with this beetroot kanji, or the ones which are like concentrated probiotics, you need to start with smaller quantities. You just need to start with a 50 ml.
Like
you just
a shot,
need, like a shot,
right.
Because they are like a high potent dose of microorganisms present there, and you can't suddenly take it in a large quantity.
Right.
Okay. And one very surprising fact is, the ghee that you consume in the diet is rich in saturated fatty acids. Now this saturated fatty acid acts as foods for the microorganism.
Okay.
So we now recommend that, of course, having a combination of prebiotics, that is having at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in the day, having 1 glass of buttermilk without fail, and then adding 1 teaspoon minimum of ghee in the diet, because you're going to straight off get the saturated fatty acids.
You can have that in, like on the roti.
Yes,
you don't have to have it just plain, right?
Yes,
in any
absolutely.
Which way. Right. Okay.
Ghee
That's a
apart,
misconception.
yes.
Yeah.
So ghee, apart from actually giving you, like it helps you to get the glycemic index of the food down, because it's a fat. But having ghee first thing in the morning also has got a lot of benefits. It helps you to manage your insulin much better in the day, and it also, women especially 40 plus, or the ones who are affected with PCOS, I have seen great results by introducing ghee first thing in the morning, because they do not feel, they don't have the sugar craving in the day because of the feeling satiated. The first thing in the morning they consume 1 teaspoon of ghee. We recommend add turmeric to it, because it's going to be an anti-inflammatory factor there. So this combination is working wonders for a lot of people, because they are getting the probiotic, the short chain fatty acids coming from ghee. Ghee doesn't spike your insulin the first thing in the morning, keeps you satiated for a longer period of time, and the turmeric is going to act as an anti-inflammatory agent. So this combination is working wonders.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That's good to know. So people, ghee and turmeric in the morning.
Yes.
So Ayurveda is always a science that has always said everything stems from the gut.
Yes.
But it is involved science and medicine. Medicine is much more involved.
Correct.
So how much of that can we follow? Should we follow the doshas, and should we eat according to that? Yeah.
Yes, pretty much. So, even when I'm practicing modern nutrition, we always try to incorporate Ayurveda into it. So, we have to consider Prakriti. That's one thing that's very person specific. And especially when I'm trying to give gut healing, these things make a lot of difference. Yeah. Okay. So, meaning not like I'm not an Ayurvedic expert, but generally, when you look at the person, there are ways where you can identify, okay, the Prakriti of this person could be like this. And then we make slight modifications in that. But that is, having said, like on a good mixture of nutrition and trying to convert whatever is the Ayurvedic science into day-to-day nutrition is something which is really a practical approach to it. So we don't ask them to completely remove everything out of the diet, or have a lot of inclusions, but we try to have in such a way that their stomach can accept it better, their gut healing starts over there. And also along with that, it is also very, very important that you eat according to the season. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Ayurveda also believes a lot of that, So like in the summer seasons, you might say, okay, eat more of salads, or eat vegetables which are high in water content, or eat raw vegetables. But probably in the rainy season, it is not much recommended that you eat a lot of raw salads or something, but you eat more of cooked food. So generally, a person who will come to us, we will try to see and try to make a diet in such a way that we keep the weather in mind. Very important.
Okay.
Very important. Yeah.
Going back to the microbiome, there's a lot of controversy about antibiotics. I find that I have met either two extremes, people who do not want to take any medicine at all, and those that will just pop an antibiotic at the drop of a hat. So how do these medicines affect us, and what is your message to people about that?
So definitely antibiotics is something which has to be taken with a doctor's prescription, because a lot of people have started self-medicating, right? That is very dangerous, because what is happening is you are not understanding exactly what is the etiology, what is the cause of that particular problem, or you've not understood that probably this is the infection you're having, and this is the kind of an antibiotic that you should be consuming, a broad spectrum one, or one which is more targeted.
Right.
So leave it up to the doctor to decide what exact antibiotic is going to work for you. Do not self-medicate. And a lot of people, what happens is they start self-medicating, they leave it midway.
Yes,
even more harmful,
complete
right?
The course.
Right? You don't even complete the course. Now what is happening? Why is it important to complete the course given by a doctor's prescription? Is because that antibiotic is going to work on that infection, and it requires those many days for the infection to be completely removed out of your body. Okay. Now, having said that, there are people who are like on a complete different spectrum, where they feel like, okay, antibiotics is not required at all. It might not be required unless the cases are very severe, and then we leave that up to the doctor. But having said that, even if you have to take an antibiotic, it can be taken for that limited period of time. But along with that, you take a probiotic.
Okay.
And nowadays, a lot of antibiotics are already having a probiotic added to it. Or then the doctor often recommends that, okay, you're taking this antibiotic, then take this probiotic to go with that.
That's good. That's
a lot of time that is happening. So it's always sensible to go by what the doctor has to say. Or if a probiotic is not given to you, speak with the doctor. Ask him that, okay, this is a heavy dose of antibiotic, can I just complement it with a probiotic? After the antibiotic dose is complete, of course there will be a lot of weakness, because it is going to create a sort of an impact on your body. So ensure that you're eating well, you're eating home cooked meal, not missing your meals at that point in time. Recover completely well, and then go by this rule by having 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in the day, having a probiotic, and then you are sorted out.
Okay. Is for like somebody, a normal person without any issues, is that 1 cup of tak enough? Probiotic?
Not having any issues.
Not having,
Yeah, pretty much it is enough, And not just that, as I was just mentioning, the prebiotics, that is the fiber which is present in these fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, that is necessary.
Yes. So this along with the probiotics, yes, it would definitely be better. In lot of cases, in fact, we recommend like having buttermilk in place of curd. Now this is even what Ayurveda mentions.
Okay.
Yes, it's always because what is happening is curd is like a concentrated form of lactobacilli present there. But the minute you add water to it, first of all it gets diluted. The prakriti also of that particular drink changes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ayurveda promotes buttermilk, but they don't promote curd as such.
I see.
So a lot of people, what we recommend is instead of having curd directly, have a glass of buttermilk. But if they do not want, then they could just have curd in a smaller quantity.
Okay. So just adding water changes the.
Yes.
Yes. That's different from when you make butter and then you get the tak. So that is different than adding water to the.
That will be more or less similar, because there also you're doing fermentation. And here also there is fermentation.
So it's very similar.
Yes.
What about fermented foods such as idli, dosa, dhokla?
Yeah. So what happens is the minute you cook, you're going to kill the microorganisms there. Okay. So if you're consuming idli, dosa for the purpose of getting the live bacteria, the purpose is defeated. But consuming foods like idli and dosa, already there is a lot of good nutrients that have been incorporated into it because of the process of fermentation.
Okay.
Right? So there is like a B complex, which is, so B complex is something which is naturally formed over there. Vitamin C gets, very, very high. The food becomes easier to digest, lighter to digest. And that is why you will get those benefits, but you're not going to get the benefit of, fermentation. So the minute it is like cooked, you are going to actually kill the microorganisms.
Okay. So you have
It has to be live.
Buttermilk with the idli and dosa.
Yes, that you can definitely have.
And what about pickles?
So
Achar,
Indian pickles, no, then I wouldn't say like those are like really rich in probiotics, because there are a lot of spices added to it.
And they're preserved.
They are
more
preserved.
Than salt,
So when we talk about fermentation, or when we talked about pickles, or the natural pickles in the form of that fermented vegetables, that is a Chinese technique of making it, we are naturally fermenting them so that there is a natural synthesis of lactobacilli there and lactic acid there. So you can even ferment like your beetroot kanji which is there.
Yeah.
You are naturally fermenting it, right? You are not adding any, you're not adding any vinegar to it.
Right.
You are naturally allowing it to ferment, like the way you will allow the idli and the dosa batter to rise by itself, where the natural the natural microorganisms which are present in the urad dal or in the rice carry out the fermentation overnight, and that is where you see the gas being formed.
Okay.
Same way, when the natural fermentation happens in the form of probably beetroot kanji is an example. Another example is this rice. You soak cooked rice, soaked in the night
Overnight,
time. That's the rice kanji.
Yeah.
Okay, so this we recommend to a lot of people who've got gut issues.
Okay.
So what you do is you have to take cooked rice, you have to add water to it, allow it to settle in a cool place, in a dark place. Next day you will see that it's fermented.
Okay.
Then if you want, you can simply grind it, add curd to it, consume it, maybe add a tadka to it, and people are seeing a lot of benefits.
Yeah,
a lot of benefits.
Yes.
So that is natural fermentation. But the minute you're going to add vinegar to it, the minute you're going to add
salt,
mango is having acid in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's not natural fermentation. It is something which is a technique of pickling, which is very different from this natural fermentation.
Yes, I wanted people to know that.
Yes,
so,
yes. So that's pickling. And you will find like gherkins, how they're pickled, but that is with vinegar. That's different.
That's different.
So when we are talking about this kind of a fermentation, it's a natural fermentation by allowing the vegetables to naturally produce the lactic acid.
Okay. Got it.
Like you have a sauerkraut, you have the kimchi, which is allowing the vegetables to naturally produce
yes.
Yes.
You just leave it and let it.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
And then you keep it in such a way that it is able to naturally produce it without giving growth to any harmful microorganisms.
When cabbage is in season, I make
you should try
sauerkraut.
It's
so easy to make.
Yes, it's very easy.
You just chop it and keep it with some. Well, I think it's. What is caraway seeds in English?
Onion seeds, right?
Yeah, onion seeds.
Yes,
yeah.
onion
you put
seeds.
that, and then it's done.
Yes.
And in a few days, you have sauerkraut. And it tastes good with everything.
It tastes good with everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Yes.
Okay.
Nowadays, now there are a few companies who are making this in India as well.
Yeah.
So that is an advantage. You can use it. Like there is a sauerkraut, like only a cabbage one. Then there will be a cabbage, apple, cranberry one.
Oh, okay.
So there are companies who are making that.
And it's a good.
And it's convenience.
Good thing to have in the evening, especially if you want to just have a little bit of.
And it
meat
is and it is to be
good.
consumed as a pickle. It's in a small quantity. You can't consume it in a larger quantity.
Right.
It has to be in a small quantity, like a pickle size. In your plate.
Okay.
But
that you can't have a lot of it.
Then it's like just having curd as against buttermilk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of curd is not good for you.
I don't know. For some people love having curd for the sake of protein or the advantages. But if you're specifically looking from getting an advantage of the lactobacilli, there might be an overdose of it over there.
Okay.
But of course, having said that, a lot of people love it and they can tolerate it, but there are some who cannot tolerate it, and then for them we say, okay, switch over to buttermilk.
Okay, got it.
So we just need to tweak it.
All right. Okay, speaking of protein, are Indians deficient in protein?
Yeah, studies do reveal that there is protein deficiency. Because our country, generally carbohydrates are given a lot of importance. Like, you will find like in the breakfast also, there is from breakfast to dinner.
Yeah.
Most of our meals are carbohydrate rich. But I see there is a difference in the mindset of people in consuming protein, and they are
There's a lot of information on it now, right?
Yes.
So how do you recommend, so if we have a thali, or let's say our Maharashtrian thali, we have katori of dal. We have a katori of usal, or usal is lentils, you could say.
Yes.
And maybe a katori of dahi. Okay. Is that enough protein for the?
So this is how we consider it for a day. Okay. We don't consider it. Of course, we do consider it for a meal, but first we will distribute it for a day.
Okay.
So generally, if you are doing a minimal physical activity of say half an hour to 1 hour of light exercise, you will require somewhere between 50 to 75 gram of protein, considering male and female.
Right.
On an average.
On
okay?
an average, yeah.
Yeah. Then if you add up like more workouts, like intense workouts and everything, then it changes. Then the calculations change. But on an average, this is what it is. Now, when you have to consume somewhere between 50 to 75 gram of protein, what you need to ensure is every meal is having 1/4, I mean like 4 meals in the day, so 1/4 of the day's protein requirement should be divided.
Okay.
Okay. So you will consider it's as simple calculation. So 10 to 15 grams in the breakfast time, maybe 20 grams, goes in the lunch time, 20 gram lunch, 20 gram, probably dinner, and the 10 gram going as a snack time.
Okay.
So when you know like, okay, this is how I need to plan my day, then then goes calculating meal wise. Okay. So then in the breakfast, you make it a point, like instead of having just poha, combining it with, nuts maybe.
Yeah.
Or then having a glass of buttermilk to go over there, or milk if people love to consume milk. If you're a non-vegetarian, egg and chapati would be a great option. Dal chilas are a great option. Parathas, consuming it along with dahi is a great option. So there, you just tweak your breakfast in such a way.
Protein in the breakfast,
So you combine a protein and a carb together always. Make it a point. Then you move on to the lunch and the dinner. Okay, meaning like lunch and dinner generally by the healthy plate method is what we recommend.
Right.
Given by the Harvard University.
Yeah.
And of course, it has been tweaked in the 2010 latest RDA in India also, and we call it the healthy plate. In that 50% of, if you consider a plate as 100, 50% should be your vegetable group. Okay. Coming from the salads, the sabzi, variety of sabzi, eat by the color is what we say, have as many colors as possible in your food coming from the natural food sources. So 50% of your plate should be the salads and the sabzi, 25% should be the protein portion from your dals, lentils.
Okay.
It could be paneer, it could be the dahi, we'll put it separately, but dals, legumes, then non-vegetarian food, it could be tofu, it could be paneer. So this comes as the protein portion. Okay. And then 25% should be the carbs, that is the complex carbs coming from millets, rice, chapati, oats if anybody wants to consume, quinoa. So that 25%. Not to forget adding 1 teaspoon of ghee over there, and not to forget taking a glass of buttermilk.
Yes, yes.
So this is a complete, this is a balanced plate. And once you consume that, you are not going to keep on craving for eating more sweets, because you've not missed out on any food group, and then weight loss is just something which is a fallout.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Because you just and then what you do is, okay, you want to lose weight, you keep the proteins higher on the dinner side, and the carbs on the lower side, but still you're getting the amount of protein that you want.
Right.
And then in the snack time, instead of indulging into something like really junk, probably makhanas is a good choice.
Yeah, chana, putana.
Having trail mixes is a good choice. Making a chuda with, adding some nuts into it, that's a great choice. So yeah, people are shifting their mindset like this.
That's good. We needed to do that.
Yes,
especially
we
now
needed to do that.
when we're not moving as much.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So speaking of the shift, I wanted to ask you about obesity. Of course, it's on the rise. It's been on the rise for the last 25 years. I've been writing about it, but for many, many years. But nothing. The graph is not going down, right? And why? I mean, we all know why it is. It's our lifestyle. It's the processed foods we're eating. It's the Swiggy and the Zomato and all that.
Correct.
And what I find is, how do we make people aware before it's too late? People don't realize it till it's a little late. So what age should we start? Obviously, we should start early. But what is your message to somebody who's just graduated and is going into the workforce? What is your message to them?
So I would start with, healthy parents is healthy children. So it starts from there.
Starts earlier, yes.
Right?
That's true.
So, you will, now there are families who come for diet consultation who you will find everybody on the higher side of weight, obese. The entire family is obese.
Yeah.
Because, everybody is consuming that sort of food. But there are families who are super fit, the entire family. So, children just mimic what the adults do. Consciously or subconsciously? Probably consciously you make it a point to, replace your pantry from junk food to something which is healthy, tasty, both combined together. As well as, you can just start putting fruits on the table, just the children pick up fruits as in when they are hungry. So it starts from there.
Right.
Then, actually what happens is teenage is the time where there is maximum consumption of junk food, because there are a lot of hormonal changes that keep on happening in the body, and junk food is something which it's like it releases dopamine in your body, because it is like the feel good factor by eating this junk food a lot of times. So you will find a lot of teenagers and young adults indulging into this kind of food more. And then as they start working, as they start doing their jobs, that is when they start getting even more serious about health. And I think 35 plus, a lot of people start getting serious.
Later on they get serious, but before that,
yes,
I've seen so many of these young IT professionals.
Yes.
It's just no, they don't cook at home.
Yeah, they don't. So there are two things, okay, into it. Like, one is they want to and they don't know how to go about it, and second is they don't even know, that this is some kind of a problem
Harmful,
which is happening.
It's harmful, yeah.
So there are two things to it. So okay, you don't know and how to go about it. There are various ways to manage it, because nowadays you have access to internet, and there are different videos or different information floating which will tell you how you can navigate through it. But having this realization then there's a time when there's a realization. Okay, now I need to start eating healthy, and and of course I think awareness is pretty much there, but along with that, there's a lot of convenience of these junk foods availability also increasing because of all these easy ordering in which is happening.
Yeah. And I mean, this food industry is there to make money. They make the foods to get you addicted.
Yeah. So high salt, high sugar, and high fat
and
food.
the combination. I mean, they have studies.
Yes.
Which foods will keep you eating.
Yes.
Right.
And these are the foods that will release the dopamine. That is the feel good hormone system, or the neurotransmitters in your brain, where you feel like, okay, now I'm feeling happy after consuming this. So every time I want to feel happy, I might just go on consuming these kind of high fat, high sugar, and high salt foods.
So what else can we do for them, for dopamine release?
Yeah, so the thing is, like, dopamine release, like, this is like an immediate answer to the that is where people, or that is where you will find a lot of people, especially when they are awake in the night time, due to boredom, probably binge watching in the night time, or
stress,
general stress is something which then you will try to look at ways where you want to satisfy it. But the beauty of the gut healing is the gut microorganisms can make these neurotransmitters.
Oh, okay.
The dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, they are capable of making it, where there is a connection between the gut and the brain, what we call as the gut-brain axis. And once all this happens only when you start doing a little bit of mindful eating practices. You have to do that.
Right.
So what we say is follow the 80-20% rule. 80% of the time make it a point to eat healthy, and 20% please enjoy, go and socialize, eat whatever you want. But when you're eating 80% of the time, see that you're eating by this balanced plate method, or then trying to include a probiotic. Definitely certain foods are also the ones which are going to release this dopamine or this serotonin. So like high protein rich foods, berries are the ones, turmeric, green tea, these are the foods that
stimulate.
They stimulate.
Okay.
Exercise, sleeping well, managing stress through mindful meditation practices, even yoga.
Everybody, yoga.
Yes.
The breathing room.
Yes, absolutely. And even I realized the beauty of it as we were just talking. Like, I'm a lot into weight training, but now this gives me a lot of calmness practicing yoga along with that. So there's a mind-body connect.
Right.
So you need to realize that.
So I know you say 80-20. Sometimes in our lifestyle, we have so many social obligations. We're invited to dinners and lunches, and then now this is wedding season.
Yes.
So like 4 days wedding, you have like lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever. It's very difficult to control your food. I know you have to be mindful. But what would you recommend?
So the thing is, festivals,
festivals.
weddings, okay? Enjoy, because they are meant for that. Okay. Now festivals are not every day. Neither are weddings every day. Neither is socializing every day of the week. It's just probably once in the weekend that you have, or the Saturday or the Sunday that you have.
Or maybe more. But
yeah. Then if you still, if you are somebody who loves to socialize, then make it a point to finish off your meals at home and then go out and just have something that fits into, either fits into your diet, or then, we as group of, even I love to socialize. We meet a lot, but we finish off our meals and then we meet.
Yes. And we're making it a point to meet earlier. Maybe we're
so
at that age.
A lot of people have also started doing that. From your dinners, you shifted to a lunchtime, you shifted to a breakfast time.
Yeah.
People are doing that because people are realizing the importance, and it's like it adds on. Either eating healthy adds on one day at a time, or eating unhealthy keeps on adding on one day at a time. So finally it's your choice, and probably when you're young you can just get away with it.
Yeah.
But when as you start aging, as you turn 40 onwards, I think a lot of people around me are that age, and then now we realize we cannot be just playing around like, okay, chalo kha liya ek din, next day you cannot get back on track.
Yeah, it's hard.
You cannot. It's pretty hard. So yes, we have decided to do it like this, and I think a lot of people are doing like this, like finish off their meals early by 7ish and then step out and socialize.
Yeah.
And people around you will appreciate it. Why not?
Yeah.
And imbibe by it also. Like, why won't they also love to adopt to it, because they are seeing a change in you.
Yeah. And I have the reputation of trying to kick everyone out by 10 o'clock. So, they have to come to my house a little earlier than, 9. Come a little earlier. And
absolutely.
Then,
and then, you're done with your meals, like say 7 o'clock, eat a hearty meal, step out. It will be as good as fasting overnight when you're not going to eat anything but just socialize. Maybe having a little something here and there which is not going to add up to any sort of calories. Okay. Now moving from that to, probably festivals. So festivals also festivals like Diwali only are for 4 days. Otherwise each festival is only for 1 day. Right. So you can just enjoy that 1 day of festival, next day get back on track.
Yes. Okay.
Very, very important. Why not enjoy that season, that festival, that food you would love to eat. But the next day, I think it's important to get back on track. Don't linger on.
Yes. Don't deny yourself anything.
Don't deny, but don't linger on. Like, whatever mithais have come during Diwali, ensure that they're just out of your home. The next day Diwali is done.
Yeah.
And be done with it.
Right.
Be done with it.
Yeah.
Enjoy, eat how much ever you want, socialize, have a great time. I mean, you are meant to do that. Otherwise, how will you have your mental health?
Right. Distribute the next day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as weddings are concerned, the same thing, right? You don't have weddings continuously happening over a period of 1 month or something. It's 4 days, 5 days, but prep for it beforehand, right? Prepare for the wedding beforehand, be fit beforehand, so give yourself a leeway.
Yes.
And that's what is the 80-20 rule.
Okay. Right,
and it applies everywhere.
Good advice. Yeah, it applies everywhere.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
The last topic I wanted to talk about was obesity and the new obesity drugs that have come to the market. I think some are available in India and they will be more easily available pretty soon.
True.
So Ozempic, Mounjaro, what is your opinion on
Ozempic is the umbrella name for all these drugs. Okay. So Ozempic, the way they function is, they are like GLP-1 antagonists, meaning like whenever we eat foods that are high in carbohydrates, GLP-1 is a hormone which then like indicates the pancreas or the intestine and the hypothalamus to, then these pancreas will release the insulin, and then whatever is the extra sugar is then going back into the cells. That is the role of the GLP-1. Now what these Ozempic do is, this GLP-1 is not, it is like synthesized in a greater quantity so that, there is a greater stimulation to the insulin to push in all the sugar that is there into the cells. Okay. And it inhibits the function of glucagon hormone, which does the opposite thing of insulin.
Okay.
It pulls out the sugar from the organs to the bloodstream, and then it is wherever it is required, it is then taken. So the work of glucagon hormone is the opposite of insulin hormone.
Okay.
Yeah. Now what this GLP-1 antagonist does is, it starts stimulating more of this insulin, increases the capacity to stimulate insulin by the pancreas, more release.
Right.
Okay. And then inhibits the function of this glucagon. Then it increases the gastric emptying time also, and then you feel satiated for a longer period of time. so you don't feel like eating more food, and that is the mode of action of this GLP-1, which are the Ozempic drugs. That is the mode of action. Now, who should be consuming this? People who are morbidly obese. So, obesity is just not a lifestyle problem. For a lot of people, it is a disease.
It's a disease, yes.
Right? And once it becomes, like, how you had bariatric surgery? Like this, there is some kind of a new technique which is available, because, obesity can be a disease in a lot of cases and cannot be managed through, your regular calorie in, calorie out. So, it has to be, you have to take help of these kind of factors. But having said that, I think a person who wants to do that should first of all consult a doctor who is expert in Ozempic, take you through the entire process properly, ensure that your nutrition is also taken care of along with this Ozempic
because you
drugs.
can't eat a lot, so you have to,
because you start getting this Ozempic face, which is you look like shrunk.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So this should not happen. So it is very nascent, actually, if you ask me, and the effects of this probably over a period of time we'll get to know.
Right.
Yeah, and let's see.
It is very new.
Yes.
I mean, it's not
so
a lot
it's
of
just
studies.
like how you have an invasive bariatric surgery which decreases the capacity to eat food. This is the same way another technique, so to help people who are morbidly obese.
Yes, hopefully it's not abused as we go forward.
Absolutely.
So, well, I wanted to thank you. Lots of good information about, especially about the gut microbiome and what you should eat and what you should eat for a good, good healthy gut.
Yes.
If people want to know more about you or find you, where should they go?
I think all social media platforms. I'm there active on YouTube, on Instagram. My website is avantideshpande.com.
Okay.
People can visit there.
I'll put it all in the show notes so you
Yes.
can visit.
Yes.
And thanks for everything and all your
pleasure.
good advice.
Thank you so much.